Welcome to Nightly Knowledge, where you can relax and learn at the same time. If you are new here, please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps support the channel and allows you to enjoy more calm learning videos like this one. Tonight, we are going to explore one of the most amazing creations in human history, the pyramids of Egypt. These incredible structures have stood for thousands of years, quietly watching over the land, the people, and the passing of time. They are more than just buildings. They are symbols of human skill, patience, and imagination. And tonight we will explore them slowly, gently, and calmly as you listen and relax. Don't forget to comment what you would like as subject in the next video. The sun is setting, painting the sky with soft orange and pink colors. The air is warm and still. You can see the pyramids in the distance, their huge shapes rising from the flat desert, sharp and strong against the sky. This is the Giza Plateau, a place that has amazed travelers, historians, and architects for thousands of years. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, also called Cheops, is the tallest of them all. It is nearly 146 meters high, and it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. Even today, it is hard to imagine how people built something so big without cranes, trucks, or modern tools. Thousands of stones, some weighing several tons, were moved, lifted, and placed with incredible precision. The pyramids are a reminder of what people can do with patience, planning, and skill. And tonight, we will learn how they did it. Before we move deeper into the story, take a slow breath. Let your body relax and your mind open. Think of the desert wind softly brushing past the pyramids. Imagine the sound of sand shifting, the quiet movement of stones, and the careful steps of the workers who built these incredible structures. Let your imagination drift, and let the calm feeling settle around you as you listen. The pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, the kings of Egypt. But they were more than just tombs. They were a way to connect the people on earth with the gods in the sky. The sides of the pyramids are perfectly aligned with the points of the compass, and the chambers inside were carefully designed to hold treasures, sacred objects, and the remains of the pharaohs. They were built to last forever as a symbol of the pharaoh's power and their journey to the afterlife. Now imagine the life around the pyramids. Thousands of people worked together to build them. Farmers, builders, craftsmen, and engineers, all working in teams, carefully moving stones, building ramps, and placing blocks. Each worker had a role, and together they created something that would last thousands of years. The workers were not slaves, as many people think. Archaeologists have discovered that they were paid laborers who lived in nearby villages, were fed well, and were respected for their work. As you continue to breathe slowly, picture the stones being moved, wooden sleds sliding over sand, ramps rising to higher levels, and blocks being carefully placed in exact positions. Imagine the careful planning that went into each step. The Egyptians used clever techniques to make the work easier. They knew how to reduce friction, how to organize teams, and how to keep everything in order. It was a massive effort, but it was done with patience, intelligence, and skill. Even the stars played a role. The pyramids were aligned with important stars in the sky. Ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaoh would travel to the stars after death. The pyramids were designed to help the pharaoh on this journey, connecting the earth with the heavens. Think of the quiet desert night, the stars shining above, and the pyramids standing below, silent and majestic. Take another slow breath. Imagine the sound of the wind and the soft movement of sand. Let your mind focus on the calm and peaceful feeling of history, of people working together, and of something being built to last forever. The pyramids are not just stones. They are stories, knowledge, and dreams from thousands of years ago. And tonight we will explore these stories in detail. Before we finish this chapter, remember again to subscribe and like the video if you Haven't done so already? Your support allows Nightly Knowledge to make more long, calm and educational videos for you and others who want to learn while relaxing. Every click helps the channel grow and brings more peaceful learning experiences into the world. Now, as we slowly move to the next chapter, prepare to learn about the origins of the pyramids, the ancient civilization that built them, and the fascinating history of Egypt. Relax your mind, breathe slowly, and let the calm feeling of curiosity settle around you. Let us begin this journey together, softly, gently, and peacefully. As we move into our second chapter, let us take a calm look at the origins of the pyramids. To understand why they were built, we need to understand the world of ancient Egypt thousands of years ago. Picture the Nile River flowing gently through the land, its waters bringing life to the desert. Along its banks, people lived, farmed, and built towns. This river was the heart of Egypt, providing food, transportation, and a connection between the north and south of the country. Ancient Egypt was ruled by pharaohs, kings who were both leaders and considered to be divine. They were seen as living gods on earth, responsible for maintaining order, justice, and the connection between the people and the gods. Because the pharaohs were so important, it was believed that they needed a special place to rest after death, a place that would protect their journey into the afterlife. This is why the pyramids were created, as monumental tombs for these great rulers. The earliest pyramids did not look exactly like the ones we see today. The first major step toward the pyramid was the Step Pyramid of Djoser, built around 2630 BCE. It was designed by the architect Imhotep, who was one of the first recorded engineers in history. The Step Pyramid began as a simple rectangular tomb called a mastaba, but it was expanded upward in layers, forming a step-like shape. This was the beginning of the pyramid style that would continue and evolve for centuries. Over time, the Egyptians learned new ways to design and build larger, smoother pyramids. They experimented with shapes, angles, and construction techniques. The goal was not only to create a safe tomb, but also to display the pharaoh's power and ensure their connection to the gods. The pyramids were carefully planned and designed, with attention to detail in every stone, chamber, and passage. The Giza Plateau, where the famous pyramids stand today, was chosen carefully. It is a flat, stable area of land, not far from the Nile River, making it easier to transport stones and materials. The plateau itself was slightly elevated, giving the pyramids a natural advantage in height and visibility. The location also had religious significance, as the west bank of the Nile was associated with death and the afterlife. Imagine the people of ancient Egypt preparing for the construction of a pyramid. Architects would study the land, plan the layout, and decide on the orientation of the structure. Builders would gather materials, organize teams, and prepare the workforce. Farmers, who were not working during the flood season, often joined as laborers. Skilled craftsmen, masons, and engineers worked on carving stones, shaping them, and preparing them for placement. The Egyptians believed deeply in the afterlife. They thought that when a person died, their spirit, or Kai, would continue to live. The body had to be protected, and the soul needed a home. The pyramids were designed to protect the pharaoh's body and belongings, and to ensure a smooth journey to the stars. The size and grandeur of the pyramids reflected the importance of the pharaoh and the desire for eternal life. Building a pyramid was a long, careful process. It required thousands of workers, precise planning, and years of effort. But the people of Egypt were not working aimlessly. Every action had meaning. Each stone placed, each ramp built, and each chamber carved was part of a larger plan. The pyramids were the result of collaboration, dedication, and respect for tradition. The Step Pyramid of Djoser inspired later pyramids, including the famous Great Pyramid of Khufu. Architects learned from earlier designs, improving the angles, the placement of stones, and the internal structures. the pyramids grew taller, smoother, and more precise. The knowledge of geometry, measurement, and astronomy was applied carefully to ensure that the pyramid was not only strong, but also aligned with the heavens. Imagine the first sparks of this ancient knowledge. Early architects and builders observing the stars, measuring angles and calculating the best ways to raise stones. Their work combined observation, creativity, and intelligence. It is remarkable to think that these achievements happened thousands of years ago, without computers, cranes, or modern tools. As you breathe slowly and imagine the Giza Plateau in the past, picture the careful planning and teamwork required to start a pyramid. Each step of the process, from selecting the site to carving the first stones, was filled with purpose. The Egyptians had a vision, and they turned it into reality, creating structures that would inspire awe for thousands of years. Take another deep breath and let your mind relax. Think of the calm river, the quiet desert, and the people working together in harmony. Their dedication, patience, and knowledge are lessons in themselves. And as we move forward in this journey, we will explore the materials used, the methods of moving enormous stones, and the lives of the workers who made these pyramids possible. Remember, if you haven't yet, subscribe and like this video. Your support helps Nightly Knowledge create more long, calm educational journeys, allowing more people to learn gently while relaxing. Every view, like, and subscription contributes to sharing knowledge peacefully across the world. Now, as we prepare to move to the next chapter, allow yourself to feel calm, relaxed, and ready to continue this journey. Let your mind wander gently through time, imagining the land of Egypt, the Nile flowing slowly, and the early steps in building the pyramids. The story is long, fascinating, and full of wonder, and we will explore it together softly and slowly in the chapters ahead. As we move into this chapter, let us focus on the most famous and largest pyramid of them all, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, also called Cheops. Standing proudly on the Giza Plateau near Cairo, this pyramid is a true wonder of the ancient world. Imagine it in your mind, its immense stones, the perfect shape, and the way it dominates the landscape. Even thousands of years after it was built, the Great Pyramid was built around 2560 BCE, nearly 4,500 years ago. At the time, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world, reaching approximately 146 meters, or almost 480 feet. For comparison, that is taller than most modern skyscrapers in some cities. It remained the tallest building in the world for nearly 4 millennia. The size and scale of this pyramid continue to amaze architects, historians, and visitors even today. Imagine standing at its base. The stones are enormous, some weighing more than 15 tons. The sheer size of the structure is humbling. The precision with which these stones were cut and placed is extraordinary. Each side of the pyramid aligns almost perfectly with the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. This accuracy shows that the ancient Egyptians had an advanced understanding of geometry, measurement, and astronomy. The Great Pyramid was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, the second ruler of the Fourth Dynasty. Khufu wanted a lasting monument that would protect his body and treasures and connect him with the gods in the afterlife. But it was more than a tomb. It was a symbol of power, knowledge, and human achievement. The pyramid also demonstrated the pharaoh's ability to organize thousands of workers and resources to achieve an extraordinary goal. Let's imagine the construction process. Thousands of workers, skilled craftsmen, stone carvers, engineers, and laborers, worked together. Farmers joined during the flood season when their fields were underwater. Stones were quarried nearby or transported from farther locations. Large limestone blocks made up most of the pyramid, while harder granite stones were used for the inner chambers and passages. The planning of the pyramid was meticulous. The architects and builders measured and aligned everything carefully. Ramps were built to move stones up as the pyramid grew taller. Teams of workers coordinated their movements to place each block precisely. It is believed that the construction took about 20 years, a long time, but the result was a structure that has lasted thousands of years. Inside the pyramid, there are chambers and passageways, including the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery. These areas were designed to protect the pharaoh's body and belongings. The corridors and rooms were carefully planned so that even today archaeologists study them with fascination. The precision of the construction continues to inspire modern engineers and historians. The Great Pyramid was originally covered with polished white limestone, which made it shine brilliantly under the sun. From a distance, it would have glowed like a jewel in the desert. Over time, most of this casing was removed or worn away, but its original appearance would have been truly spectacular. Imagine the sunlight reflecting off the smooth stones, creating a vision of beauty and grandeur in the vast desert. Even today, visitors feel a sense of awe when standing near the pyramid. It is a reminder of human capability and determination. The Great Pyramid is not just a monument, it is a story in stone, a history of ambition, skill, and dedication. Every stone has its place, every angle has been measured, and every detail reflects the care of the builders. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine the pyramid in your mind, the workers moving stones, the desert around it, and the soft wind brushing past. Feel the calm, the patience, and the long history it represents. The Great Pyramid stands as a symbol of human achievement and the power of careful planning and teamwork. Even though it has stood for thousands of years, the pyramid still holds mysteries. How exactly were the huge stones moved? How were the internal chambers so precise? Archaeologists have studied these questions for centuries and continue to explore new ideas. The Great Pyramid is both a monument and a puzzle, a combination of knowledge, art, and mystery. As we continue to learn, think about the dedication required to build such a structure. Imagine the thousands of people working together, each with a role, each contributing to something greater than themselves. The Great Pyramid is a reminder that with patience, collaboration, and vision, humans can achieve incredible things. Before we finish this chapter, take another deep breath and relax. Picture the pyramid in the calm desert, its stones glowing softly in your mind's eye. Let the image of Khufu's pyramid settle gently as we prepare to explore the materials and stones used in the next chapter. Remember to subscribe and like if you haven't yet. Your support helps Nightly Knowledge continue creating long, relaxing educational videos. Each subscription allows more people to enjoy the peaceful combination of learning and relaxation. Now, as we move to Chapter 4, let your mind drift calmly and prepare to learn about the materials and sources used to build the pyramids, the stones that make them strong and lasting, and the clever techniques of the ancient builders. As we move into Chapter 4, let us focus on the materials used to build the pyramids and where they came from. The stones used in the pyramids are not just ordinary rocks. Each one was carefully chosen, cut, and placed to ensure strength, durability, and beauty. Understanding. These materials helps us appreciate the skill and planning of the ancient builders. The primary material for most of the Great Pyramid was limestone. Limestone is a type of soft stone that can be cut into large blocks more easily than harder rocks. The limestone for the outer casing, which made the pyramid shine like a jewel in the sun, was of higher quality than the limestone used in the core. This outer limestone came from quarries nearby, often less than a few kilometers from the pyramid site. The builders chose the stones carefully, selecting pieces that would fit perfectly together. Inside the pyramid, the builders used granite for the king's chamber and other critical areas. Granite is a much harder stone than limestone and could withstand the weight of thousands of tons pressing down from above. This granite was not available locally. It came from Aswan, more than 800 kilometers to the south. Transporting these massive stones such a long distance required clever planning and extraordinary effort. Imagine the skill, patience, and teamwork needed to move these enormous blocks over rivers, deserts, and uneven terrain. The workers used copper tools, chisels, and saws to cut the stones. While copper is relatively soft compared to modern steel, it was sufficient for carving limestone and shaping granite with great care. Workers would slowly chip away at the stones, smoothing the surfaces and ensuring that each block fit perfectly with its neighbors. Even small errors could create problems, so precision was extremely important. In addition to limestone and granite, smaller stones and mortar were also used. Mortar helped fill gaps and stabilize the structure, ensuring that the pyramid would last for thousands of years. The combination of stones and mortar created a solid, long-lasting building. Every material was chosen for its function, durability, and availability. Now think about the logistics. The pyramid required millions of stones, each weighing several tons. The limestone quarries nearby provided most of the blocks, but the granite from Aswan presented a bigger challenge. Workers had to transport these stones along the Nile River, using boats or rafts, and then haul them overland to the pyramid site. This process required careful organization, timing, and coordination. The builders needed to understand how to move heavy loads efficiently using ramps, sleds, and manpower. Imagine the workers carefully cutting each block, inspecting it, and preparing it for transport. Each stone had a purpose, a specific place in the pyramid. Even small blocks were important for filling gaps, supporting larger stones, and creating smooth surfaces. The builders paid attention to every detail, knowing that their work would last for thousands of years. The choice of materials also reflected the Egyptians' understanding of the environment. Limestone was abundant and easy to work with, while granite provided strength in critical areas. Sandstone and other stones were sometimes used for decorations, statues, and smaller structures near the pyramids. The combination of materials demonstrates not only practical knowledge, but also an appreciation for aesthetics and function. Take a deep, slow breath. Imagine the quarries, the boats carrying massive granite stones along the Nile, and the workers guiding each block to the construction site. Picture the careful handling, the teamwork, and the patience involved in every step. This process, repeated thousands of times, created the enduring pyramids that still stand today. Even today, archaeologists study these materials to understand how the pyramids were built. By examining the stones, tools, and construction methods, they gain insight into the skill, knowledge, and organization of ancient Egyptian society. Each block tells a story of effort, intelligence, and collaboration, a story that has lasted thousands of years. Now, as we relax further, think about the textures of the stones, the smoothness of the limestone, and the hardness of the granite. Let your mind imagine the workers handling these materials carefully, placing each block exactly where it belongs. Let this vision settle softly in your mind as we prepare to explore the lives of the workers in the next chapter. Before we move on, remember to subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge allows more long, calming, and educational videos like this one to be created. Every view, like, and subscription helps share knowledge gently and peacefully. As we conclude this chapter, keep the image of the stones, quarries, and careful planning in your mind. Let yourself feel calm, relaxed, and ready for the next part of our journey, the lives of the workers who built the pyramids, their roles, and their daily routines. As we continue our journey through the pyramids of Egypt, It is important to imagine the people who made these incredible structures possible. The pyramids were not built by magic or by a few individuals alone. They were the result of careful planning, hard work, and teamwork. Thousands of workers contributed their time, energy, and skill to create monuments that still inspire awe today. Picture the Giza Plateau during the time of Pharaoh Khufu. Farmers, artisans, stonecutters, and engineers all gathered to build the pyramid. Many of the farmers joined the workforce during the flood season when their fields were underwater. They were organized into teams, each with a specific task. Some cut stones in the quarries, others transported them, and skilled craftsmen shaped the blocks with precision. Contrary to popular myths, the workers were not slaves. Archaeologists have found evidence of workers' villages near the pyramids. These villages included sleeping quarters, kitchens, and medical facilities. Workers were fed well, with a diet of bread, beer, meat, and vegetables. They received care for injuries, showing that the builders were valued members of society. Working on the pyramid was considered an honor and a service to the pharaoh and the gods. The workforce was highly organized. Teams were divided into smaller groups, each with leaders who supervised the work. These leaders ensured that the stones were cut accurately, transported safely, and placed correctly. Laborers followed strict schedules, working in shifts to maintain a steady pace. The construction of a pyramid was a long-term project, sometimes lasting 20 years or more, and it required patience and dedication from everyone involved. Imagine a team of workers pulling a large limestone block along a sled. The stone weighs several tons, but the team moves it slowly and carefully, coordinating their efforts. Other workers may be sprinkling water on the sand in front of the sled to reduce friction, making it easier to slide. The teamwork required is remarkable. Every person has a role, and every role contributes to the success of the pyramid. Artisans also played a critical role. Skilled masons carved the stones with precision, ensuring that each block fit perfectly into place. Other craftsmen worked on decorations, inscriptions, and statues that accompanied the pyramid. These artisans used tools made of copper, wooden mallets, and stone hammers, applying their knowledge patiently and carefully. Their work was not only practical, but also artistic, showing respect for the pharaoh and the gods. The workers' daily life was challenging but structured. They lived close to the construction site in temporary villages, sleeping in shared quarters and eating together. They were often far from their families, but they shared a sense of purpose. Building the pyramid was more than a job. It was a contribution to history. Every stone they placed, every ramp they built, was part of a monument that would last for millennia. Religion and culture were also intertwined with the work. The pyramids were sacred structures designed to protect the pharaoh in the afterlife. Workers understood the spiritual significance of their labor. This knowledge inspired them to work carefully and with respect. The pyramid was not only a tomb, it was a bridge between earth and the divine, a place that would ensure the pharaoh's eternal journey. Take a moment to imagine the scene. Hundreds, or even thousands of people moving stones, carving limestone, shaping granite, and coordinating their efforts. The sound of hammers, the smell of dust, the heat of the desert sun, and the cool Nile breeze, all of it forming the rhythm of construction. Even though it was hard work, there was a sense of purpose, a feeling that each person was part of something greater. Education and training were also part of the society around the pyramids. Young men learned how to cut and move stones, how to carve inscriptions, and how to work in teams. Knowledge was passed down carefully, ensuring that the next generation could continue the work. This tradition of learning and collaboration contributed to the success of the pyramids and the legacy of ancient Egyptian civilization. As you breathe slowly, picture these workers in your mind. See the teamwork, the careful placement of stones, and the rhythm of daily labor. Imagine the pride they felt in contributing to a structure that would last thousands of years. Let this image settle softly in your mind, creating a sense of calm and respect for the people behind the pyramids. Before we move on to the next chapter, remember to subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge helps create more long, relaxing and educational videos. Every view and subscription allows more people to enjoy learning gently while resting, combining knowledge with calm relaxation. As we prepare to move to Chapter 6, imagine the stones being moved, the ramps being built, and the teamwork required to lift the massive blocks into place. The next chapter will explore the transport of stones and clever techniques used to build the pyramids, allowing you to understand more about the incredible skill of these ancient workers. As we move deeper into the story of the pyramids, let us now focus on one of the most remarkable aspects of their construction: how the ancient Egyptians transported millions of massive stones to the construction site. Imagine the desert around the Giza Plateau, hot and vast, with the Nile River flowing gently nearby. The challenge was immense. Some stones weighed several tons, and yet the Egyptians managed to move them with precision, patience, and ingenuity. Most of the stones used for the pyramids were limestone, which was quarried close to the site. These stones could weigh between 2 and 3 tons each. For the inner chambers, harder stones like granite were used, some weighing up to 15 tons. Granite came from Aswan, nearly 800 kilometers away. Imagine the skill and determination needed to transport these enormous stones over such a long distance. The task required planning, teamwork, and clever solutions. The Egyptians likely used wooden sledges to move the stones. Workers would place a stone on a sled and pull it across the sand. But moving a multi-ton block over loose desert sand was not easy. Here, clever innovation played a role. Recent studies suggest that workers poured water over the sand in front of the sled. The wet sand reduced friction, making it easier to slide the stone forward. This simple but effective technique shows how practical knowledge and observation were applied thousands of years ago. Imagine a team of dozens of workers pulling a stone along the sand. Each worker pulls in rhythm, coordinating their movements with the others. The sound of feet moving across the sand, the creaking of the wooden sled, and the soft wind of the desert create a steady, calming rhythm. This rhythm was part of the process, guiding the workers and helping them maintain focus and energy over long hours. When stones came from farther away, like the granite from Aswan, the Egyptians used the Nile River as a transportation route. They built boats and rafts to carry the stones downstream. Picture the large granite blocks carefully loaded onto wooden rafts. Workers used ropes and pulleys, skillfully balancing the weight to keep the stones from tipping. As the rafts floated down the river, other workers guided them, ensuring they reached the construction site safely. The Nile was not only a source of life, but also a vital highway for moving materials. Once the stones arrived at the Giza Plateau, the next challenge was to move them up the pyramid. Here the Egyptians built ramps. These ramps could be straight, zigzagging, or spiraling around the pyramid. Workers would pull the stones up the ramps, using ropes and sheer manpower. Imagine the long, slow climb, stone by stone, with teams taking turns resting and carefully placing each block. The ramps had to be strong enough to support the weight, but also gentle enough to allow smooth movement. Coordination was crucial. Teams were organized carefully. Some workers pulled the sleds, others cleared the path, and others maintained the ramps. Leaders oversaw the process, making sure everything moved efficiently. Each person knew their role, and together they achieved what would have seemed impossible. This coordination demonstrates not only physical strength, but also intelligence, planning, and collaboration. It is easy to picture the desert scene during construction. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, of workers moving stones across the sands, pulling, lifting, and guiding each block. Dust rises slowly in the air as the stones glide over the sand. The sun shines down, warm but not unbearable. The calm breeze carries the sound of effort and determination. Every movement, every block, brings the pyramid closer to completion. The Egyptians also understood the importance of timing. Construction was seasonal, often taking advantage of the flood season when farmers were free to work. Workers were organized in shifts to maintain a continuous flow of progress. This planning ensured that the pyramid could grow steadily, year after year, until the monumental structure was complete. Take a deep breath and imagine this process. See the sled moving smoothly over wet sand, guided by strong hands. Hear the soft rhythm of labor, the gentle wind and the distant flow of the Nile. Feel the patience, persistence, and teamwork that made the transport of stones possible. The process was long and challenging, but the workers understood their role in creating something extraordinary. Even today, the transport of stones remains one of the most studied aspects of pyramid construction. Archaeologists have recreated models and experiments to understand how the Egyptians moved massive blocks with simple tools. These experiments confirm the clever techniques used: sledges, water, ramps, ropes, and careful coordination. It is remarkable to think that these methods, developed thousands of years ago, allowed humans to build one of the wonders of the world. The story of stone transport also teaches us about the Egyptians' deep connection to their environment. They observed the sand, the river, and the terrain, using natural resources wisely. Water, gravity, and manpower were combined to achieve results that modern engineers still admire. The stones were not only transported, they were guided carefully, handled with respect, and placed with precision. Imagine yourself standing on the pyramid site as stones arrive. Workers guide the sleds up the ramps, slowly, carefully, until each block reaches its place. The pyramid grows taller, layer by layer. The rhythm of effort continues. The desert wind brushes past, and the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the sands. Each stone carries a story of teamwork, intelligence, and determination. Before we conclude this chapter, remember to subscribe and like if you haven't done so already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge helps create more long, calm, educational videos, combining learning with relaxation. Every subscription allows more people to enjoy the peaceful journey of knowledge while resting. Now, as we prepare to move to the next chapter, keep the image of the stones, ramps, and teamwork in your mind. Picture the patient, steady effort of the workers and the clever solutions they used. In Chapter 7, we will explore construction techniques in detail, including ramps, precision placement, and the careful planning that allowed the pyramids to endure for thousands of years. As we move into Chapter 7, we will take a slow, calm journey into the construction techniques used to build the pyramids of Egypt. Building a pyramid was no simple task. It required careful planning, patience, skill, and teamwork. Thousands of stones, some weighing several tons, had to be placed with incredible precision. The ancient Egyptians developed methods that allowed them to build these monuments, which still inspire awe thousands of years later. Tonight we will explore these methods in detail, imagining the desert, the workers, and the careful steps that brought each pyramid to life. The first technique to consider is the use of ramps. Ramps were essential for moving stones to higher levels as the pyramid grew. There were several types of ramps: straight ramps, zigzagging ramps, and spiral ramps around the pyramid. Each type had advantages. Straight ramps allowed large stones to be moved along a single path, but they required enormous amounts of material and space. Zigzagging ramps reduced the length of the ramp while still allowing stones to be hauled upward. spiral ramps wrapped around the pyramid, creating a steady slope for workers to move blocks slowly and carefully. Imagine the workers hauling stones up these ramps. Each block moved slowly, deliberately as teams coordinated their efforts. Some workers pulled ropes while others guided the sledges and cleared the path. The sound of feet on sand, the creaking of wooden sledges, and the soft wind of the desert created a calming rhythm. Even though the work was difficult, the structure of the teams and the organization of labor allowed progress to continue steadily. Another key technique was levering and placement. Once stones reached the level where they would be set, they had to be carefully positioned. Workers used levers, wooden beams, and simple machines to lift and nudge blocks into place. The process required precision. Even a small misalignment could create problems for the next layer. Imagine a stone being lifted slightly with a lever, then adjusted carefully until it fit perfectly. The workers repeated this process thousands of times, layer by layer, until the pyramid reached its intended height. Measurement and alignment were also critical. The ancient Egyptians had a remarkable understanding of geometry. The pyramids were aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. Surveying tools, simple but effective, helped ensure that each side of the pyramid was straight and true. The angles of the slopes were carefully calculated to create stability. Imagine the architects and workers checking measurements, marking lines in the sand, and ensuring that every stone contributed to a perfectly shaped structure. Inside the pyramid, the internal chambers and passages required careful engineering. The king's chamber, queen's chamber, and grand gallery had to be built to support the immense weight of the stones above. Granite beams were used to reinforce ceilings and distribute weight. This attention to detail shows that the ancient Egyptians not only built massive structures, but also understood the principles of load-bearing and stability. The Egyptians also used trial and error combined with careful observation. Early pyramids, such as the Step Pyramid of Djoser, provided lessons for later constructions. Builders learned how to adjust slopes, create stronger foundations, and plan ramps more effectively. Each pyramid was a combination of tradition, experience, and innovation. Imagine the reflection and observation that went into these decisions as architects refined their techniques for maximum efficiency and stability. Organization and workflow were crucial. Workers were divided into teams, each with leaders and specific responsibilities. Some teams specialized in cutting stones, others in transporting them, and others in placing them. This division of labor ensured that work could continue smoothly and safely. Even in the harsh desert environment, the teams maintained rhythm and coordination. Each stone, each movement, contributed to the larger goal of building a monument that would last for millennia. Take a deep, slow breath. Imagine the desert landscape, the long ramps stretching toward the sky and the workers moving carefully along them. Picture the levers lifting stones into place, the soft sounds of effort, and the wind brushing across the sands. Feel the patience, determination, and skill required. Each block represents hours of careful labor, and each layer shows the dedication of thousands of people. Another important technique was the use of temporary structures. Wooden scaffolding, platforms, and guides helped workers place stones accurately. These temporary tools were essential for positioning blocks at higher levels. Imagine a scaffold rising alongside the pyramid, with workers climbing carefully, guiding each stone into its precise position. The temporary structures were removed after the stones were set, leaving a perfectly finished pyramid. Even the finishing of the pyramid required careful attention. The outer casing of polished limestone created smooth surfaces that reflected sunlight. Workers had to shape and polish each stone so that the pyramid gleamed from a distance. This was meticulous work, requiring patience and care. Imagine the sunlight glinting off the smooth stones and the workers examining each block to ensure perfection. The construction techniques also reflected deep knowledge of physics and materials. The weight of the stones, the angles of the slopes, and the internal chambers all had to be balanced. Too much pressure in one area could cause collapse. By combining geometry, observation, and practical experience, the ancient Egyptians created structures that could withstand the test of time. Imagine the careful calculations, the observation of natural forces, and the skillful adjustments made during construction. Take another slow breath and let yourself visualize the pyramid taking shape. See the workers on ramps lifting stones and placing them carefully. Imagine the desert wind, the rhythm of labor, and the patience required for each action. This is the story of human ingenuity, collaboration, and perseverance. The pyramid is not just a building. It is a testament to what humans can achieve when knowledge, skill, and patience come together. Before we end this chapter, remember to subscribe and like if you haven't already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge helps create more long, calm, educational videos like this one. Every subscription allows more people to experience peaceful learning and the fascinating story of the pyramids. Now, as we move to Chapter 8, imagine the completed pyramid, towering above the desert. We will explore the inside of the pyramids, the chambers, passages, and secrets that have fascinated historians and archaeologists for thousands of years. Let yourself relax and drift gently as we continue our journey. As we enter Chapter 8, let us take a slow and calm journey inside the pyramids. Outside, these monuments are awe-inspiring, but the real magic lies within. Inside, the pyramids hold chambers, passageways, and secrets that have fascinated people for thousands of years. Imagine walking through these silent corridors, feeling the cool stone walls around you, and hearing the faint echoes of history. Tonight, we will explore the inner world of the pyramids carefully and calmly, layer by layer, stone by stone. The King's Chamber is perhaps the most famous interior space in the Great Pyramid. It was designed to house the pharaoh's sarcophagus, along with treasures and offerings meant to accompany him into the afterlife. The chamber is made of massive granite blocks, some weighing tens of tons. These blocks were placed with incredible precision to ensure the chamber could withstand the weight of the pyramid above. Imagine the architects carefully measuring each stone, planning its exact placement, and ensuring it would remain stable for thousands of years. Even the smallest misalignment could have caused problems, so each stone mattered. Connected to the King's Chamber is the Grand Gallery, a long high corridor that rises toward the upper chambers. The Grand Gallery is a masterpiece of engineering. Its walls are angled, and the stones are perfectly aligned, allowing the weight of the pyramid to be distributed evenly. Imagine walking slowly through the gallery, feeling the smooth stone beneath your fingers and hearing the faint echo of your footsteps. The space is calm, quiet, and awe-inspiring, designed to inspire reverence and respect. The Queen's Chamber is smaller but equally fascinating. Despite its name, it likely did not serve as a tomb for a queen. Scholars believe it may have had symbolic or ritual significance, perhaps related to the pharaoh's spiritual journey. The chamber's precise alignment and construction show the Egyptians' deep understanding of architecture and geometry. Imagine the workers carefully placing each stone, ensuring perfect alignment and stability, and thinking about the spiritual purpose of their work. Inside the pyramids, there are also narrow corridors and passageways. Some are low and confined, requiring careful movement, while others are wide and high, allowing easier passage. These passages were meticulously planned and constructed. Imagine workers crawling through narrow tunnels, carrying tools and stones, carefully aligning every block. Each passage served a purpose, whether for transporting materials during construction or for symbolic and religious reasons. The Egyptians designed many chambers and passages with spiritual significance in mind. They believed that the pharaoh's soul, or K, would travel through these spaces after death. The layout of the pyramid helped guide the soul from the earthly world to the heavens. Imagine the quiet reverence inside these chambers, knowing that every stone, corridor, and chamber had meaning beyond its physical presence. Every detail was intentional, part of a sacred plan that connected earth to the divine. Corbelled ceilings were a clever architectural technique used to support the weight of the pyramid above chambers. In the king's chamber, for example, these ceilings helped distribute pressure and prevent collapse. Granite beams acted as additional support, showing that the Egyptians understood structural forces and how to manage them. Imagine the careful calculation and observation that went into designing these features, ensuring that the chambers would endure for millennia. The pyramids also contain hidden or mysterious passages, some discovered only recently using modern technology. These passages may have had symbolic purposes or served practical needs during construction. Imagine walking through these secret corridors, feeling the cool, smooth stone around you, and knowing that the builders created hidden spaces intentionally. Even today, we continue to discover new aspects of these ancient structures, showing that their secrets have not yet been fully revealed. Take a deep, slow breath and imagine the interior of the pyramid. Feel the solid stone walls around you, the carefully placed blocks, and the silent echoes of ancient workers. Picture yourself walking through the grand gallery, entering the king's chamber, and pausing to reflect on the pharaoh's journey. Let the calm, quiet atmosphere of the pyramid settle around you, as if the silence itself is wrapping you in a sense of peace. The interior chambers also demonstrate the Egyptians' remarkable understanding of materials and geometry. Stones were cut to precise dimensions, polished where needed, and placed with care. The internal layout shows advanced knowledge of angles, alignment, and load distribution. Imagine generations of builders refining these techniques, learning from earlier pyramids, and passing their knowledge to the next team of workers. Each chamber is a record of human ingenuity, patience, and careful observation. Even the smallest details mattered. Some stones bear markings from the workers who carved them, while others are polished for smoothness. Every stone had a purpose, whether for structural support, alignment, or aesthetic effect. Imagine the artisans working carefully, adjusting each block, and ensuring that their work would last for thousands of years. The interior of the pyramid is both a functional structure and a work of art. The pyramids were also designed for durability and protection. The placement of stones, internal corridors, and chambers ensured that the pyramid could withstand natural forces such as earthquakes and erosion. The builders understood the importance of balance, pressure distribution, and careful alignment. Imagine the careful thought and observation that went into each decision, combining practical engineering with spiritual purpose. Take another slow, calming breath. Picture the pyramid as a living monument, the stones forming walls, ceilings, and floors, each block carefully placed. Hear the soft echo of footsteps, feel the cool air, and notice the rhythm of history preserved within the walls. The interior is not only a marvel of engineering, but also a testament to human patience, skill, and reverence. Before we conclude this chapter, remember to subscribe and like if you haven't already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge allows more long, calm educational videos to be created, sharing history, knowledge, and relaxation with viewers around the world. Every subscription contributes to the peaceful spread of knowledge. As we prepare for Chapter 9, keep this vision of the interior in your mind. Imagine walking through corridors, chambers, and hidden passages, seeing the care and precision that went into every stone. Let yourself relax, letting the pyramid's calm and silent wisdom fill your imagination. In the next chapter, We will explore the mysteries and theories surrounding the pyramids, diving into questions that have fascinated scholars for thousands of years. As we enter Chapter 9, let us slowly explore the mysteries and theories surrounding the pyramids of Egypt. These incredible monuments have fascinated people for thousands of years, and even today, there are questions that inspire curiosity, wonder, and awe. The pyramids are not just tombs, they are symbols of knowledge, ingenuity, and human determination. Tonight, we will examine these mysteries carefully, imagining the desert, the builders, and the silent majesty of these ancient structures. One of the most famous mysteries is how the Egyptians moved the massive stones. Some of these stones weighed tens of tons, yet they were transported and placed with incredible precision. We know that ramps, sledges, and water techniques were used, but scholars still debate the exact methods. Did they use straight ramps, zigzag ramps, or spiral ramps? How did they lift the highest stones? Experiments by modern researchers suggest that clever use of water, ropes, and manpower could explain these feats, but the exact process may never be fully known. Imagine the teams of workers, the rhythm of pulling sledges, the coordination, and the patience required. Each stone moved with care, step by step, until it reached its place in the pyramid. Another mystery is the precision of the alignment. The Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. How did the Egyptians achieve such accuracy thousands of years ago without modern instruments? Some theories suggest they observed the stars using the night sky to guide their measurements. Others propose they used simple sighting tools or measured shadows during the day. Imagine ancient architects carefully observing the stars, marking lines in the sand, and ensuring that every angle contributed to the pyramid's perfect alignment. The internal chambers and hidden passages also raise questions. Some chambers appear symbolic, while others may have served practical purposes during construction. In recent years, modern technology such as muon scanning has revealed previously unknown voids and spaces inside the Great Pyramid. These discoveries suggest that there are still secrets hidden within the stones. Imagine quietly walking through a dark, hidden corridor, feeling the cool stone walls and realizing that you are surrounded by mysteries that have lasted thousands of years. One of the most debated mysteries is how the pyramids were built so quickly. The Great Pyramid, for example, took approximately 20 years to complete, yet it contains millions of stones, some weighing many tons. How did the Egyptians organize such a massive workforce, transport materials over long distances, and place every stone precisely? Scholars point to meticulous planning, division of labor, and seasonal work schedules, but even today, the scale of the achievement amazes us. Imagine the rhythm of daily labor, workers pulling stones along ramps, craftsmen carving and polishing, and leaders coordinating the entire process. Every person had a role, every stone had a purpose, and the pyramid grew steadily layer by layer. The pyramids also inspire questions about astronomical knowledge. Some researchers suggest that the pyramid's alignment with certain stars or constellations reflects the Egyptians' understanding of the cosmos. For example, the Great Pyramid may align with Orion's belt, a constellation associated with the god Osiris. Other theories propose connections to solstices and the movements of the sun. Imagine ancient priests and architects observing the sky, noting the stars, and designing monuments that reflected the heavens on earth. Every alignment, angle, and orientation may have been intentional, linking the pharaohs to the divine. Another fascinating theory involves mathematics and geometry. The pyramids are marvels of precision, and some researchers suggest they encode mathematical constants, such as pi and the golden ratio. Whether this was intentional or coincidental remains debated, but the precision of measurements, angles, and proportions is remarkable. Imagine architects carefully calculating slopes, measuring stones, and ensuring that every layer contributed to a perfect pyramid. Even without modern tools, they achieved a level of accuracy that continues to astonish modern engineers. The pyramids also hold mysteries about construction techniques. Despite many studies and experiments, questions remain about how massive granite beams were lifted, how ramps were constructed and dismantled, and how the workforce was coordinated. Some theories propose counterweights, levers, or complex machines, while others emphasize human labor, ingenuity, and clever use of simple tools. Imagine workers experimenting with different methods, learning from mistakes, and slowly developing the techniques that allowed them to build these monumental structures. The question of hidden treasures and chambers has captivated explorers and archaeologists for centuries. While many pyramids were looted in ancient times, the idea of undiscovered chambers or symbolic treasures continues to excite imagination. Modern technology has begun to reveal hidden spaces, and new discoveries may yet provide answers to ancient questions. Imagine gently exploring these spaces in your mind, feeling the quiet, cool stone, and sensing the centuries of history preserved inside. Take a moment to breathe slowly and visualize the pyramids. Imagine the stones, the ramps, the chambers, and the starry sky above. Picture the rhythm of work, the coordination of thousands of hands, and the careful planning that brought these monuments to life. Feel the calm and awe that these structures inspire, knowing that many mysteries remain, waiting to be explored by future generations. The pyramids also encourage reflection on human determination and ingenuity. They remind us that with vision, patience, and collaboration, humans can achieve extraordinary feats. Each mystery and theory highlights the intelligence, creativity, and perseverance of the ancient Egyptians. Imagine the pride they felt, building monuments that would endure for millennia, connecting the earthly and the divine, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire wonder today. Before we conclude this chapter, remember to subscribe and like if you haven't yet. Supporting Nightly Knowledge allows more long, calming, and educational videos to be created. Every subscription helps share knowledge gently, allowing people to learn and relax at the same time. As we prepare for Chapter 10, keep these mysteries in your mind. Imagine the pyramids standing tall in the desert, aligned with the stars, built stone by stone, containing hidden chambers and secrets. In the final chapter, we will explore the legacy of the pyramids, how they continue to influence the world, and what we can learn from them as we reflect on human achievement and history. Let yourself drift gently, calm and focused, ready to complete this journey through knowledge and wonder. As we enter the final chapter of our journey, let us slowly reflect on the legacy of the pyramids. These incredible monuments have stood for thousands of years, inspiring awe, curiosity, and admiration. They are more than ancient tombs. They are symbols of human ingenuity, patience, and dedication. Tonight, we will explore the lasting influence of the pyramids, their impact on architecture, culture, and history, and what they teach us about humanity. The pyramids of Egypt continue to inspire architects and engineers today. Modern builders study their construction methods, alignment, and materials to understand how these monuments have endured for millennia. Imagine the careful planning that went into each stone, the precision of every angle, and the knowledge of materials that allowed the pyramids to resist natural forces, such as earthquakes and erosion. By observing these ancient techniques, modern engineers can learn lessons about structural integrity, durability, and efficiency. The pyramids also influenced architecture and design throughout history. Cultures far beyond Egypt have drawn inspiration from their shape, scale, and symbolism. Obelisks, tombs, and monuments in other civilizations reflect the grandeur and symbolism of the pyramids. Imagine a pyramid rising slowly in your mind, its sharp angles meeting the sky. And think about how this iconic shape has captured the imagination of humans across centuries. It is a timeless symbol, connecting generations through design, ambition, and creativity. The cultural legacy of the pyramids is equally profound. For ancient Egyptians, the pyramids represented the pharaoh's divine journey, a connection between the earthly world and the afterlife. The spiritual and symbolic meaning of these structures shaped rituals, art, and literature. Imagine the priests performing ceremonies, the workers understanding the sacred importance of their labor, and the pharaohs being immortalized in stone. This cultural heritage continues to influence our understanding of human spirituality and history. The pyramids are also a testament to human collaboration and organization. Building such massive structures required thousands of workers, carefully coordinated over decades. Each person, from laborer to architect, played a role in creating something far greater than themselves. Imagine the rhythm of labor, sledges moving heavy stones, ramps guiding blocks to higher levels, artisans carving intricate details, and supervisors ensuring every step was precise. The pyramids remind us that collective effort, patience, and careful planning can achieve extraordinary results. Even today, the pyramids attract millions of visitors from around the world. People travel to Egypt to marvel at their size, explore their interiors, and imagine the lives of the workers who built them. Standing at the base of a pyramid, one can feel the weight of history, the dedication of thousands of individuals, and the ambition of an ancient civilization. Imagine slowly walking around the Great Pyramid, feeling the warm sun and reflecting on the countless hands that helped create this timeless monument. The pyramids also inspire modern education and research. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists study the pyramids to uncover new insights about ancient Egypt, engineering, and human culture. Technologies such as 3D scanning, muon imaging, and advanced surveying techniques continue to reveal hidden chambers and structural details. Imagine researchers carefully examining every block, mapping passages, and using modern tools to uncover secrets that have remained for millennia. The pyramids continue to be a source of knowledge, even thousands of years after they were built. The symbolic legacy of the pyramids extends to imagination and storytelling. From ancient myths to modern media, pyramids represent mystery, achievement, and endurance. They inspire stories of kings, gods, and hidden treasures. Imagine the soft echo of tales told by travelers, archaeologists, and storytellers, each adding to the legend of the pyramids. The stories themselves become part of the legacy, connecting the past to the present and the present to the future. The pyramids also remind us of the importance of time and patience. Constructing a pyramid required decades of careful labor, precise measurement, and dedication. Today, standing in the shadow of these ancient monuments, we can reflect on the value of persistence and long-term thinking. Imagine the slow layering of stones, each one placed with care, and feel the calm rhythm of effort and focus. The pyramids teach us that great achievements often require patience, collaboration, and a vision that extends beyond a single lifetime. Take a deep, slow breath and imagine the Great Pyramid rising above the desert. Picture its smooth limestone casing reflecting sunlight, the grand gallery within, and the king's chamber at the center. Visualize the thousands of workers, the careful placement of every stone, and the enduring presence of this monument. Feel the calm, quiet strength of the pyramids, and let it fill your mind with a sense of peace and admiration. The pyramids also provide lessons for future generations. They teach us about engineering, architecture, teamwork, and cultural heritage. They remind us to observe, plan, and act carefully. They inspire us to think beyond ourselves and consider the long-term impact of our work. Imagine the pyramids as a bridge across time, connecting ancient builders to modern learners, inspiring curiosity, creativity, and reflection. Before we finish this journey, remember to subscribe and like if you haven't already. Supporting Nightly Knowledge helps create more long, calming educational videos. Every subscription allows more people to experience the serene combination of learning and relaxation, just as you have tonight. As we conclude this final chapter, take a few slow, deep breaths. Picture the pyramids, their silent grandeur and the timeless wisdom they represent. Feel the calm and peace that comes from understanding human achievement, the careful labor of thousands, and the enduring spirit of ancient Egypt. Let the knowledge settle gently, carrying you into a restful, thoughtful, and calm state. The pyramids are more than stone structures. They are lessons, stories, and symbols. They remind us that humans can achieve the extraordinary, that careful planning and teamwork matter, and that knowledge can be passed across millennia. Imagine this legacy surrounding you, calm and steady, as you drift gently into the evening, carrying the wonders of history with you in quiet reflection. As we come to the end of tonight's journey through the pyramids of Egypt, take a slow, deep breath and let your mind rest. Imagine the pyramids standing tall in the desert, their silent stones holding the stories of thousands of years, the work of countless hands, and the wisdom of ancient minds. Feel the calm, steady presence of history surrounding you, wrapping you in a gentle, peaceful embrace. Tonight we have explored chambers, corridors, ramps, and mysteries. We have imagined the rhythm of labor, the careful placement of every stone, and the enduring legacy of the pyramids. Let these images settle softly in your mind, carrying you into a state of calm reflection and gentle relaxation. Each detail, each story, has been a small piece of knowledge building quietly as you rest. Before we part, I invite you to subscribe to Nightly Knowledge if you haven't already, so you can continue traveling through history, science, and human achievement, while finding calm and relaxation. Like this video if you enjoyed this peaceful journey, and share it with anyone who might want to learn while unwinding. Your support helps create more long, soothing, and educational content. Remember, the pyramids were built stone by stone, patiently and thoughtfully. Let this be a reminder that learning, growth, and understanding also happen step by step, quietly and at your own pace. Carry this calm knowledge with you and let it ease your mind, whether you are resting, reflecting, or slowly drifting to sleep. Thank you for joining me tonight on Nightly Knowledge. May your dreams be calm, your thoughts peaceful, and your mind enriched with the wonders of history. Until next time, rest well, and let knowledge guide you gently into the night. Good night, and thank you for learning with Nightly Knowledge.